Faced with the field of theory today, Plato would most likely respond by. Now, we need two references. We need to look at two references in the passage in order to answer the question. The reference to Plato is here. Of course, there's a mention in this paragraph as well, the fourth paragraph, but the fifth paragraph, the second last paragraph, this makes the key reference. To Plato, the poets were a band of deceivers. For his own part, Plato claimed to offer access to concepts that could help one to live a better life. Through philosophical conversation, you approach pure knowledge, etc. Conversely, the knowledge that you glean from reading literature is messy, undefined, and without focus. We see that Plato is aligned, or Plato's views are aligned with those of modern theorists. It is referenced here, the struggle between the philosophers and poets that Plato in the 4th century, 45 BC, said was already ancient. And we see that this debate that we are talking about, the struggle that we are talking about, is essentially described in the second paragraph. Over the past 2 decades, theorists have sought to reveal art's long suppressed kinship with propaganda, pornography, and the language of imperial oppression. Seen in theory's bleaching lights, great poets no longer appear as ideals of wisdom or of human triumph against the odds. Now they are to be approached as shrewd deceivers, tour guides to dreamy, detached lotus worlds, apologists for race and gender oppression, bagmen for the bourgeoisie. So we find that Plato is of the same view as modern day theorists, according to the passage. Let's look at the options. A says, embracing it because it views poets as clever deceivers. This is quite true. Embracing the field of modern day theory, or modern theory that is, because it views poets as clever deceivers. This is quite true, and we have almost a direct reference to this. To Plato, the poets were a band of deceivers, and to modern theorists, the poets, great poets, are to be approached as shrewd deceivers. So both of them believe that poets or writers or literatures, creators of literary art, literary artists, they were deceivers. So it's likely that Plato would embrace the field of modern theory. A is a valid choice. Option B says, espousing it because it seeks to foster debate concerning the truth of high theory. Now, there are two problems with this. Espousing it is okay. Espousing means to adopt something, to agree to something, because it seeks to foster debate concerning the truth of high theory. Now, we are not talking about the truth of high theory at all anywhere in the passage. This reference altogether is outside the premise. We do talk about truth, which we see here, eternal truths, but that is not an aspect of the field of theory. It is mentioned here. Theory offered illusions, mere imitations of imitations, whereas life's highest purpose is to seek eternal truths. So the field of theory today fosters debate concerning the truth of high theory is incorrect. It offers the field of modern theory offers illusions, imitations of imitations. So first off, this is incorrect. Second off, we've already seen how A is a better choice, because both the modern theorists and Plato believe that poets are deceivers. So espousing it, yes. Agreeing with it, adopting it, yes. But because it seeks to foster debate concerning the truth of high theory, wrong. That is not the reason why Plato would agree with or adopt the field of theory in the present day. So A is definitely a better choice. B is incorrect. Option C tells us rejecting it because it is quizzical about art and artists. We've already seen how Plato, in all likelihood, would embrace it, would agree with it. So Plato is definitely not likely to reject it because it is quizzical about art and artists. Now, quizzical is an understatement. It questions art and artists, the field of theory today. It questions art and artists, and also it comes to a conclusion. It says that artists, literary artists at least, are deceivers. So The reasoning here is correct, but what Plato would do because of that reasoning is quite the contrary of what the passage suggests. So C is incorrect. Option D says, spurning it, again rejecting it because it takes poets for apologists and dreamers. A lot of problems with this. Spurning it, rejecting it, refusing to believe in it, refusing to agree with it, it's wrong. We've seen how Plato is likely to embrace it. So quite the contrary of what option D suggests. Then also because it takes poets for apologists and dreamers. Dreamers is outside the premise. There's no reference to this. We are talking about tour guide to dreamy, detached lotus worlds. That's not talking about poets as dreamers. And then apologists, that also is a distortion. Apologists is not used in a good sense. Apologists for race and gender oppression. So Plato would believe or would agree with the field of theory today because it does take poets for apologists for race and gender oppression. But because of that, Plato is highly likely to embrace the field of modern theory, is not likely to spurn it or to reject it. So this also is incorrect. In fact, we didn't need to look at all of that. If we understand why Plato would embrace the field of theory today, then rejecting it and spurning it in C and D are quite easy to eliminate. So D is out. The correct answer is option A.